Hello everyone and welcome back to this next lecture. So in this lecture I'm going to give you some tips on how best to complete this course. So the most and obvious recommendation for any online course is that you watch all the videos at least once. And one of the best advantages of Udemy is you have lifelong access, which means you can always come back and watch the videos whenever you need to refresh yourself. So please do try to watch all the videos at least once. Now, in the next section, I will be describing how to download and install the STM32Cube IDE and also some example code from STM. Please do this along with me. That is, please also install STM32Cube IDE on your computer and download the sample code from STM so that we can start reviewing them very soon in the next sections. The next thing is I will be using the technical reference documentation for the STM32G474 microcontroller and also the data sheet for this microcontroller. So these are the two main documents I will be using in this course, and I will also be telling you about the documentation for the Nucleo G474 microcontroller. So please, as I am downloading these reference documentation, also download them yourself. As I have already said before, this is a very long course where I will go into great detail both with the microcontroller and also with the different peripherals that we'll be using for a sample power electronics application. Now, to do this, I will be using the reference documentation, and this reference documentation is very long. And in the case of the STM32G474 microcontroller, it is more than 2000 pages long. Of course, if you only consider the peripherals that are relevant to us, we are talking about around 500 to 800 pages, but that is still quite long. So therefore, I will show you how to reference this particular document and how to use it as a quick access guide. Because I have done so not just for the STM microcontroller, but for also other microcontrollers such as Texas Instruments and Microchip, and therefore I will share with you a little tip on how best to go through this process. And along with that, I will also show you how to read example code and also to interpret header files and other files provided by ST Microelectronics. So therefore, also do this on your computer when I am doing this in the video. The reason is that once you learn how to access the header files along with the technical documentation can serve as a very quick reference for any peripheral, as now you can access all the registers that are relevant for a particular peripheral and how those peripherals can be loaded and changed. So once in a while, I will give you challenges. For example, I will ask you to draw timing diagrams or other waveforms, and I will ask you how you can kind of generate these using code. For example, of course, this won't come immediately, but it will come in the later sections once we start creating some projects and you become a little more comfortable with programming the STM32G474 microcontroller. And in almost every example, after we complete the example, or rather complete the sample project, I will provide a few challenges that you can try out. Please do try these out, and please also, once you see timing diagrams, think about how you can implement them using microcontroller projects. The most important thing, and that is here, it's important, this is a caution. As you are following this course, do not immediately start implementing on actual power converters, right? The reason is we are going to gradually develop our understanding of the STM32G474 microcontroller, and as we progress, we are not yet ready to control actual power converters which are fed by DC voltage sources, right? We will gradually work towards practical examples, and towards the end of this course, you will find yourself with the tools that are necessary to control actual power converters. But do not try it out while you are doing this course. Only after you complete this course, I would suggest that try to attempt real projects, because if you do so beforehand, you may cause damage to your power converters, as I will gradually reveal different features of the STM32G474, and only after you have understood all the features can you safely control power converters. So please, before you actually start implementing projects, complete the course and do not start implementing as and how you learn. Whenever you have any doubt, and I keep saying this during the lecture itself, use the Q&A forum. This is the best place where you can get help, because not only will I'm always trying to answer questions in the Q&A forum within a few hours, and this is something that I always monitor. If you email me or you try to reach me on other ways, I may not be able to see that question, or it may go into my spam and I may not see it at all. Whereas the Q&A forum is something that I'm continuously monitoring, and usually I try to answer within a few hours. Now, of course, if it is something with respect to the course, I would ask you to reference the particular lecture so that I know what lecture you're talking about. But other than that, you are always welcome to start any discussion on any topic in power engineering. If it is not a part of the course, I may not be able to help you directly, but I can always refer you to other resources so that you can find information on your own. So this is just a few tips on how best to complete this course. As I said, some of these are quite obvious, such as watching all the videos, and some of these are very specific. For example, things like waiting until you complete the course before you actually work on power converters. This is something I would say be very cautious about. And in the next section, I will also have a lecture on safety when you are doing any hardware. Especially if you're new to hardware, it is extremely important that you stay safe. So, if you have any questions, please use the Q&A forum, post in the Q&A forum, and I'll do my best to help you. Otherwise, I will see you in the next section, where we will get started with installing all the different softwares and setting up our Nucleo G474 microcontroller development board. Thank you so much for listening, and see you soon. Goodbye for now.